I'm not very artistic, but let's see if I can use pictures to help me achieve my goal. Xin chào, Brooklyn here. Do you ever feel like life moves so fast that you forget where you're actually headed? That was me for a little bit last year when I had just moved to Vietnam and kinda had no clue what was going to happen. At times, I just found myself blindly following my husband and his family. But this year in 2025, I want to take charge of my life a little bit more. So I'm going to try making some more pointed goals and make a vision board. So come along with me as I make a vision board. This is something that I did maybe 6 years ago once and really enjoyed it. And this year I want to do it again. I have already sat down and made some goals for my life in different categories in health, work, finance, family, and some personal goals. And I sat down with my husband and talked about some of these to make sure that we're on the same page. Now, if you've never made a vision board before or heard of one, it's not as complicated as it sounds. You just look for pictures that kind of embody what you want your life to look like. So I'm going to tell you about my goals and then look for pictures that go along with that, and I'll show you the finished product at the end. So starting off strong with work, I have 3 categories for work this year. Of course, YouTube is one of those main ones. I want to continue this YouTube channel in a similar way that I have, but grow my audience. And so let's look for pictures that go along with that. Okay, so I've searched for podcast inspo and we'll see what comes up on Pinterest. I'm going to save pictures that look interesting on a board and then pick out later which one I want. So, of course, we have to have a microphone for podcasts. Let's add this to my vision board. Oh, this one looks kind of cool. I'd love to eventually have guests on the podcast. So these pictures with 2 microphones, that can be some of my vision for this year. Oh, here's a girl talking to a microphone. I like that, having people in the pictures. Now moving on to the teaching part of work. In 2024, Vu and I led a group of students through a course called Advanced Junior English. It focuses on pronunciation, intonation, and fluency, all through shadowing speeches. I've seen so much growth from these kids. Let's watch a few of them.
Hello, Mrs. Brooklyn and Mr. Vu. Imagine this. You are on a family trip to another country.
And while everyone was trying to understand the meaning,
you're the one who can help. Why? Because you learned a second language.
They worked really hard and I'm so impressed with their improvement. So in 2025, we want to open this course up to more students and even include a course for adults. So stay tuned for that. So now I'm trying to find a picture that goes with being a teacher. A lot of the photos that are popping up go with the traditional classroom. So I think for this one, I'm going to choose this one that just talks about who a teacher is and the heart behind it all. I've seen some really cute vision boards that have quotes in the middle of them, so maybe this is that type of thing for me. The third part of work for me is nursing. I actually have a whole video on nursing if you want to hear more about that. and what it's like, how I found nursing. I love nursing. I'm going to be in America for my sister's wedding for a short time in this year, and I have an opportunity for some temporary employment while I'm there. So let's see if I can find a picture with that. Actually, I think I already pinned one the other day, and I thought this would be great for my vision board. I have a very small board of pictures with nursing that I really like. I like this one, I think. Maybe I'll use that, or just these scrubs and a stethoscope. Okay, so that's enough about work. The next category is health. This is a very common New Year's goal. And this year, I'm excited to have my husband along with me to make goals together. We don't know when, but sometime we will plan to have kids, and we want to be the healthiest version of ourselves for that. And so this year we are focusing on, of course, diet, exercise, and sleep. Sleep is so important. I'd have to look up specific science studies, but usually they say like 8 to 10 hours, I think, for women, and maybe like 7 or 8 for men. Women do need a little bit more sleep, and I have to remind my husband of that sometimes. So sleep, and then exercise. We like to lift weights a couple times a week and then go for walks or runs the other times. And of course, diet. This will be interesting when we stay with family, when we go back to the States. So I think for this portion, I can't make an overall goal for the whole year. We'll just have to take it season by season. So I'm gonna see if I can find some pictures that go with each of those. Let's see, if I type in healthy eating, what will come up? You never know. Oh, lots of fruits and vegetables. That's perfect. I think that will look really pretty on the whole board all together. Oh, a fruit bowl. That's amazing. With getting ourselves to the healthiest that we can now, it's not just so that we can be healthy when Vu and I take care of our kids a couple years down the road, but also we're learning that how healthy we are now affects what we pass down to our kids and the health of their genes. So we are taking that seriously and trying to be healthy, of course, and maybe we need to figure out what supplements to take as well. The next section is family, and the main goal that I have for family and relationships is finding an appropriate work-life balance. Vu and I work together, and so sometimes it can be difficult to find how to balance it all. Maybe in the evening, one of us has an idea and we want to talk about it, or we're running behind on work and we are trying to work together on off hours, and that's not always the healthiest. We have to find a way to connect apart from work. I'm not exactly sure what all of that will look like for us this year. I think it will be a constant conversation where we have to reevaluate every month or so. But the goal is growth overall and not just reaching a certain point, because relationships are continuous throughout all of life. So I found some cute little sayings of balance is not something you find, it's something you create, or just another thing that says don't live to work, work to live. Probably my favorite section of my goals are my personal goals. I've boiled it down to 3 main goals. I have a lot of others, but let's talk about this. Of course, I have a language learning goal. I talked about this some in my videos specifically on goals. I am studying with a tutor, and I am learning language through an app. I want to continue doing that to get to a place where I can have everyday conversations with Vietnamese people, and specifically my Vietnamese family. I have a goal of reading. Whenever I was in, well, all of my childhood, but especially middle school, I was a big reader. I was always reading something. But as my studies got more intense in high school and college, I didn't have time for reading anymore. But 2024 was the year that I started reading again. I think I read 26 books, which was big for me, may not be as big for some people, but I want to continue that into this next year. My goal is probably 24 books. I want to read at least 6 books that are good for me books, ones that will be beneficial. So that's one of those books every other month. And then after that, I can read whatever I want. And then finally, so fashion is one of my goals. Basically, I want to develop a better wardrobe. When I moved to Vietnam, of course, I could only bring 2 suitcases with me. So I tried to get rid of all of the clothes that were not my most favorite. And my goal was to build up my wardrobe when I got here, but that I haven't found my favorite stores yet. So I want to do that, and maybe I won't be able to keep up with all of the fashion trends here because you guys have your own sense of style, but I want to find my style and fit in a little bit. So let's see what pictures we can find. Maybe just a wardrobe will bring up, yes, I love these, I love neutral colors. So let's do that. And I could even arrange my clothes like this in my wardrobe here. So I found a good photo for fashion. Let's look up one for reading. Just a stack of books. Reading books in the grass that I will look forward to doing when I'm in America. Or reading books on the park bench. Okay, that's probably good for now. My last goal is a financial goal. Financial goals are pretty typical goals for the new year, which I think is great. We should always be trying to do better with our finances, and we should always have intention to not just spend money wherever, but know exactly where it's going. My husband Vu manages most of the finances, which I'm fine with. He's better at it than I am. But I want to learn more about how finances work in general, about different ways to invest, and I want to be a little bit more involved with our financial planning just so I can have that as a goal when I'm working. Before marriage, he and I had, of course, different spending habits. And so now we've had our first year of marriage and moving into our second. We want to do better and be more intentional with our spending. We want to put about 20% in savings and 20% in investing. And I'm not quite sure how all of this works in Vietnam, but in America, we have different options for investing in mutual funds and stocks and retirement funds. So we will put more money into there. I've been looking to try to find pictures that go with these goals of savings and investing. I'm not quite sure that these are what I'm looking for, but we'll save them and see. This one here, I like how it has the newspapers. I think that's so cute. Oh, you know what? I do really like this one. The piggy bank with the coins going in it. Obviously, I want to save more than just coins, but I think this is cute. All right, I'm gonna look back over those pictures and see what I've got, and then I'll come back and show you what I put together. Okay guys, I finished it, and here it is. I'm pretty proud of how it turned out, at least for my first time. The one other time I did a vision board was by cutting out pieces of paper. This is the first time I've done a digital one. I used Canva, which not sponsored, but it worked out pretty good once I played around with it some. So I have another friend that does a vision board for every month, and maybe I will start doing that. But this is my one for this year for so far. I will make it my background on my computer, and hopefully it's a good reminder throughout the year of all the things I want to accomplish. So tell me, have you ever made a vision board before, and how did it work out for you? Let me know down in the comments. All right, guys, that's all for today. Goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next episode.